Warning, the following program contains cheating and drinking songs with fiddles and steel guitars and singers that you can actually understand. Side effects may include laughing, crying, toe tapping, and singing along. Proceed enthusiastically and get ready for the very best in real country music the way it should be, as the multi-award winning My Kind of Country starts right now on Fish Creek Radio. Everybody, I'm Scott Wikle. You're listening to My Kind of Country. Thanks for joining us on a Monday night. I'm very happy to have this lady on the show. I've been looking forward to getting these songs out to you for quite a while. She is a phenomenal country music singer. She's both a great songwriter and a great vocalist. She's got a brand new album. It's got some fantastic originals on it and some great classic country songs with her own take. And we're going to present them to you tonight, and we're going to play the album in its entirety for you. It's an honor for me to welcome her to the show tonight. This is Alicia Summers McLeod. Alicia, how are you tonight?
Hey, Scott, I'm fine, and thank you for that wonderful introduction. I'm not so sure I'm deserving of all that.
Well, you certainly are. I love your music, and I've been a fan ever since the first time I heard you, and I'm so thankful to be able to present this to my listeners tonight, and you've put a wonderful, wonderful album together here.
Thank you so much, and I could not have done it without Kurt Ryle over at Big Matador recording in Clarksville, because he is the genius of recording, I tell you.
He certainly is, and Kurt Ryle is one of the very few that will send me a song, and I will put it on the air without even having heard it, because everything that comes out of his studio is nothing less than top notch, and that includes what you've done here.
Well, and I'll tell you something about Kurt. He's a wonderful, wonderful person, but he is what I call a slave driver in a very kind way. He pulls stuff out of me that I didn't know I had and probably couldn't do again without him, and he's so much fun to work with. He is just awesome.
Well, that's great. I'm glad to hear that. Well, the new album is called For Crying Out Loud, and folks, you can get it at Amazon, Spotify, iTunes, and you can get a hold of Alicia on Facebook. She has a Facebook page called Alicia Sings For You, and it's the number 4 and then the letter U, and we're going to make sure we have that link on our Facebook page, so you can go there and you'll be able to order this CD right directly from Alicia. And
thank you so much. And can I put a quick plug in?
Absolutely.
I have a little Christmas album that I did. It's not a professional recording, but it's a good recording. It's got 13 songs on it and a little Christmas story, and that can only be purchased through me, because it would be a very personal, private thing. And I love my little Christmas album because it was just a fun thing to do. But I would love to share that, too. Well,
great. Well, we'll make sure we have that information on our Facebook page. And, folks, you can always contact us directly here at My Kind of Country, and we'll get you in touch with Alicia as well. That's not a problem.
Thank you.
Absolutely, and congratulations, too. You are up for an Academy of Western Artists nomination, and I think that's fantastic, and I know that...
I saw that, and I have a sneaky feeling that Scott Wikle is responsible for that, so I have to thank you for that.
Well, it's a well-deserved honor, and I think it would be wonderful to see you win that. And I know that your song has been on the charts for Indie Express, and you've been getting a lot of action with Mama, I'm Glad You're Not Here, and I think that that's a song that everybody needs to hear right now with everything going on in this world.
You know it is, and you know the story behind that. It was specifically designed to have everybody take what's happening in our country, in our world today, very personally, so that maybe they'll realize that we all have a responsibility to try to keep things going in a better direction. But it came from the fact that I would be so glad not to have Mama have to witness all of the things that are here. It would break her heart, and that was truly a song from the heart. But I'm going to say something else. Dina Wood with Indie Express is another one of those that I put right up there on a pedestal, because she takes care of us independent artists. Most of the general public don't realize the independent artist is a unique kind of person, because they don't get the attention that mainstream media gets, such as the CMA members and that sort of thing, the big artists, I say. But there are so many of them out there who are absolutely the most talented people I've ever heard, and in some cases better than what you hear on mainstream, yet they don't get the recognition. And Dina sees to it that they get heard, and not just in our country, but all over the world.
Absolutely. Dina was on my show recently, and we talked about that, and I have the utmost respect for her and what she's doing. We get so much great music from Indie Express, including your stuff, and it's a life's blood for shows like what I'm doing to be able to get that music out there, and for the artists, like you said, it's a wonderful platform.
Yes, it is. And you know what? And I'm going to throw this in there, too, for just a second. Kurt Ryle and his family, Dina and her husband, and Jerry Collins, my friend, who is another indie and songwriter and wonderful person, are all going through the COVID battle right now. So I would ask that all your listeners keep them in their prayers, please.
Amen. We had planned to have Kurt on the show with us tonight, and unfortunately he was not able to do that, but we'll try to get in touch with him when he's feeling better, and I'd love to get him on the show, too, because he not only is he a great producer, he's also an excellent songwriter and artist, too. So
I'll tell you something else. He's a Bible prophecy teacher. He is an expert on the book of Revelation.
Oh, wow. That's incredible.
Yes, he is an amazing man, and his son, Braden, and his wife, Mia, are just fantastic people.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Braden is a wonderful kid. We went to dinner during the recording studio situation and went out to dinner several times, or lunch, actually. And the first thing that hit me was when they walked away and they were in front of me, Braden threw his arm around his dad's waist. And he's a 14-year-old young man, and he's such a good kid. He's been raised with values and morals, and I think Kurt and Mia are doing a great job.
Well, you're from originally from Montgomery, Alabama, and I know that that your mom was a huge influence for you, and she certainly was probably your biggest fan and encouraged your music and everything. And then I know she would have loved this song, "Mama, I'm Glad You're Not Here." Tell me a little bit about your musical background and what it was, what you were listening to, and what was influencing you as you were growing up.
You know, you said it perfectly. Everything you said about Mama is perfect, and she would get me at the kitchen sink and teach me songs so that she could sing alto, which didn't interest me at all at that time. I was a kid. But she had a beautiful, beautiful voice, and when she sang harmony, it was magnificent. And, of course, I was the normal teenager. I was listening to the pop station while she was listening to the country station. I had cared nothing for country music. But there were a few crossovers, the Patsy Clines, the Skeeter Davis, the Floyd Kramers that crossed over. And so from time to time, we'd meet in the middle on that. But those were my people back then. The Gene Pitney, the Roy Orbison music, the Shirelles, that sort of thing. And I did have a group that kind of faded out about 2 years ago when we lost a guitar player called Vintage. And even before that, I played in a group out of Montgomery that toured the Southeast called Nostalgia. And it was a great four-piece band, and we did all those oldies, and we did some country. But as I got older, I began to lean toward the country music of that era. Now, the new country to me is I've heard someone call it hick hop, and I feel that's a good description of it. But the old classic country, it tells a story. It expresses so many feelings, good and bad, lifestyles. And that's kind of what I'm kind of settled into, really. I love the good old lounge music, the Etta James. I love to do that. But country is the part that you can just kind of fall into so easily. It's just easier. You can feel it.
You're absolutely right. That's what country music's all about, and that's why I love the music you're doing on this album, without a doubt. We talked about Mama. I want to ask you about another song. I think this is a great song. It's called Secondhand Smoke.
Oh, I love to tell you about Secondhand Smoke. I walked into this, excuse my squeakiness. I've got this little hoarseness going on. I'm hoping it's just allergies. Walked into the studio, and Kurt had John Castleberry in there, and he said, "John, I wrote a song last night. See what you think. You've been wanting to do a duet with me." And I listened to it, and I went, "Oh, Lord, that's it. That is it. That describes pretty much all old married people." And we had more fun with that than a barrel of monkeys. We played off each other back and forth, back and forth. That was the most fun song in the world. And it just talks about the fact that you get older, and, you know, when you were young, it was once a raging bonfire because everything was like, oh, I can't wait to be with you, hold your hand, yada, yada, yada. But then you get older and you go, let's just sit here in a chair and watch a late show, okay? Or let's just put a burger on the grill. Let's just settle back.
No, that's a fun song. We're gonna play that. In fact, let's take a little break here, and I want to play "Mama, I'm Glad You're Not Here" and "Secondhand Smoke" for our listeners. And this is from Alicia's brand new album. It's called "For Crying Out Loud."
you're not here right now. They say it will get better, but I just don't see how. The world we knew before you left has fallen all apart. And Mom, if you were here today, it would surely break your heart. When I leave home now, Mama, I wear a mask upon my face, 'cause we live in constant fear of death in every earthly place. You taught about the love of God. Our house was filled with laughter. Who would have guessed that so much hate would rule our world soon after? In burning cities, words ring out that you should never hear. There's disrespect for every precious thing we've held so dear. If you could see the rage and killing, Mom, you'd shed a golden tear. And though I miss you more than words, I'm glad that you're not here. When you see the Father who gave His precious Son, please tell Him that we humbly ask for something to be done to save His children from this evil living in our land, to reach down and heal our nation with His mighty hand. Mama, you know, there's hate and envy here now based on just the color of our skin. And the schools that teach our children, why, they won't even let God's word come in. They're killing little babies, Mama, before they have a chance to take a breath or shed a tear. Oh, Mama, I wish I could talk to you, but I'm so glad that you're not here. So, Mama, rest in peace, 'cause, you know, we will be okay. I don't want you to worry over this sad world today. Just watch the gate and know that soon your loved ones will appear. But Mama, in the meantime, I'm so glad that you're not here.
Don't you kiss me like you used to?
'Cause you don't look like you once did.
Hey baby, look into the mirror. You know you've got some lines you haven't hid.
Well, for your information, that six-pack on your gut is now a keg.
Oh, come on. We both sag a lot these days.
Yeah, I guess we kinda do, don't we? So let's accept each other as we are. Too tired to go our separate ways. Hey, let's just rock on in our rocking chairs and live and love another day, and just keep laughing at each other.
what's new? You don't like me in my clothes.
You think my butt looks big in my jeans.
You know it's your jeans that makes your butt go.
Well, tell me something I don't know.
Hey, look, I admit I ain't no Superman.
Well, honey, I don't have wings and I can't fly.
Hey, I got an idea. How about I just throw some burgers on the grill?
And I can bake an apple pie.
Yeah, that's it.
Hey, let's just rock on in our rocking chair and live and love another day, and just keep laughing at each other, 'cause time can't take that away. It's such a long way to the bedroom, and we're both moving kind of slow. We were once a raging bonfire, now we're just secondhand smoke. Yeah, let's just rock on in our rocking chairs and live and love another day, and just keep laughing at each other, 'cause time can't take that away. It's such a long way to the bedroom, and we're both moving kind of slow. We were once a raging bonfire, now we're just secondhand smoke. Hey, honey, you got a light?
I quit smoking a long time ago.
Yeah, you got that right.
All right, that's brand new music from Alicia Summers McLeod from her album For Crying Out Loud. And I'm so happy to have Alicia on the show with me tonight. We're talking about all these great songs and playing them for you. And Alicia, tell me about the title song.
I will, but let me tell you something real quick before I forget it, because you know how old people are. All my life, when I've written poetry or songs, I've just written it Alicia with a little A. But when I decided to join BMI, they wouldn't accept that. It had to be my full name. But if you notice on my album or any of the records, you'll see the little ALICIA, even though technically it's Alicia Summers McLeod. So that's kind of a quirky thing there. But you wanted to hear about which one now?
The title song.
Oh, for crying out loud. I wanted to do an album, and my original thought was All Tearjerkers, you know? And I thought, well, what can I title it? And I said, for crying out loud, I can't think of anything. And I went, oh, there it is. And that's how it got its name. And so I thought, well, it's only appropriate I should write a song with the same, you got to have a title song, right? And I'm thinking, okay, country music, what are we going to do? It's got to be country, it's got to be mournful, it's got to be a beer-drinking song. And it just went from there. And there were a couple of songs that I wrote that Kurt said, you know, you need two more on the album. And I threw those together, and I don't remember which ones they were. So this album became one with some happy songs on it that make you laugh till you cry. So it still kind of stayed in tune with the For Crying Out Loud theme.
I love it. I love it. And that's a good, solid country song, too, man. And right from the first bars, I mean, you had me. I just love it.
Oh, it sure enough is, because you listen to that song and you For Crying Out Loud.
That's great. I love it.
And then you know what? Let me tell you what Kurt told me. I did the first chorus, and I was going to change the second one. He said, you can't do that because everybody wants to sing along with the choruses. I said, but I want to play on those words, because in the first chorus it's talking about how he's out on the town, he's drinking, he's bragging to his buddies, and then she turns the tables and she says, oh, no, now I'm out there on the town with your crowd, bragging to your friends how leaving made me feel so proud. He said, well, you know, that's not half bad. I think we'll go with that one.
There you go.
It's one of those attitude songs. There are a couple of them on that album that are attitude songs.
Yes, definitely. Well, Secondhand Smoke is kind of an attitude song too, but it's a fun.
I'm leaving now and I won't be coming back. It's kind of like Before You Cheat. You know, it's attitude plus.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about that one. You have, by the way, have written the lion's share of the songs on this project too.
Well, I have 5 originals, and then I put several covers that I have just always loved, and it's been a challenge. I just wanted to do them. Never thought that I could, ever. But I wanted to. And one, of course, was Sonny Throckmorton's song, I Wish I Was 18 Again. And I talked to Sonny. I had met him several years back, and I said, can I do a slideshow on that song and see what you think? And he said, yes, and I did it. And he said, man, that's what I was trying to get across. Nobody's gotten that across, but that slideshow, if you look at those pictures, that got it. And I said, do you mind if I record it? And he said, well, I won't quote him because he's profound. But he said, take it and run with it. Do whatever you want to. So I did. But when the tingle becomes a chill, you know, I've talked to so many gal pals and about their marriages, and you spend so much time together. You raise kids. You lose track of what you came together for in the first place, and suddenly one day when the kids are gone, as my cousin told me, you've forgotten to stay in touch with each other, and you've lost that tingle. And so I want to do that one. And Roy Clark's Yesterday When I Was Young, to me, is just a perfect description of how we all look back maybe on our past. And Kurt Ryle did a fantastic classical guitar in that. So those songs I wanted on there. The other 2 that I didn't write were written by Kurt or Kurt and another person.
Oh, fabulous. You got some great songs on here. And Yesterday When I Was Young, I'm racking my brain, and I don't really remember anyone else covering that song other than, you know, Roy Clark when he recorded it. So it's really nice to be able to hear that one again, and it just proves that good music has no expiration date, as Billy Bowles always says.
You are so right, and it lasts forever. And the songs that I put on there, I think one of my motives when I wrote each one of them or used each one of them was songs somebody can identify with, songs at least somebody can say, hey, I can understand that perfectly, because that's so important when you listen to a song. Otherwise you forget the words except just a sing-along. But I wanted something that would touch people in any way possible that they could identify with.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And you know what? On Christmas Day, I will be 72.
Wow.
So Yesterday When I Was Young and I Wish I Was 18 Again hit real close to home with me. That's just the saddest song to me, because I envisioned, and if you ever watch the video on YouTube, you'll see I envisioned an old man who can't do the things he used to do, who can't turn the young ladies' heads anymore, but in his mind, as we all are, we're the same people we were when we were 25 or 18 or whatever. We still think the same way, but we're not there anymore. And, you know, getting old is a good thing in so many ways, but I think we all long for yesteryear, you know? Well, let me throw something funny on top of that since we're getting so tearjerker here. For years and years and years, I probably made all these wrinkle cream companies rich. And I bought everything I could get my hands on because I was convinced that playing on stage was a youthful market and I had to compete. Well, there came a point in time when I couldn't compete anymore, and I realized it. And, you know, you look in the mirror and then it's there facing you. And I thought, well, I can't be young. What can I do? And I thought, well, I can just be a cool old person. So that's kind of what I try to do.
That's great. Well, we're going to take another little break, and we're going to play that batch of songs that we just talked about from Alicia. This is her new album. It's called For Crying Out Loud. We're going to play that title song for you. And Alicia Sings For You is the Facebook page. And, of course, the album is available at Amazon, iTunes, Spotify, all those usual suspects where we get our music nowadays. And we're going to come back and talk to Alicia about some more of these great songs. Stay with us as My Kind of Country continues.
Well, aren't you really something, standing there so tall? You think you're really special when you make me feel so small. You make me sad, you make me mad, the way you cheat and lie. You never seem to care at all when cry. For all the times you stayed out late with your rowdy crowd and bragged to all your friends when you were feeling oh so proud. Then toss your head and shift the blame and drink and run your mouth. To me we're good for just one thing, for crying out loud. But now the tables all have turned, your back's against the wall. I won't be there to hear you when you're sneaking up the hall. You'll feel so bad that I'm so glad, and probably wonder why. I'll be the one who's laughing when I say my last goodbye. 'Cause I'll be out there on the town with your rowdy crowd and bragging to your friends how leaving made me feel so proud. I'll toss my hair and sip more wine and probably run my mouth while you stay at home for just one thing, for crying out loud. You'll be the one at home alone for crying out loud. At a bar down in Dallas, an old man chimed in, and they thought he was out of his head. And all being young men, they just laughed it off when they heard what this old man had said. He said, I'll never again turn the young ladies' heads or go running off into the wind. I'm 3/4 home from the start to the end, and I wish I was 18 again. He said, I wish I was 18 again, and going where I've never been. But old folks and old oaks standing tall just pretend. I wish I was 18 again. Time turns the pages and life goes so fast. The years turn the dark hair all gray. He said, I talked to some young folks, but they don't understand the words this old man's got to say. He said, I wish I but old folks and old oaks standing tall just pretend. I wish I was 18 again. He said, I wish I was 18 again. Can keep this big old house you built. You can keep the fancy car. You can keep the dog to keep you warm when you get home from the bar. You can keep the pictures on the wall so you see just what you lack. 'Cause I'm leaving now and I won't be coming back. You can have our old home movies, the couch and my old chair. Thought of staying one more day is more than I can bear. You've left me here alone at night, so much I can't keep track. So I'm leaving now and I won't be coming back. I remember all your promises when I said I'd be your wife. You said that you'd be true to me and love me all your life. So keep this pretty negligee and this golden wedding band to remind you what you're missing. 'Cause after all I can stand, well, I'm leaving you my pillow where I used to lay my head. That's all that you'll have left of me while you're sleeping in our bed. Just tell your lies to our TV, but you can't deny the fact that I'm leaving now and I won't be coming back. Call me, leave a message at the beep, 'cause I'll be out there on the town even when you're fast asleep. So take one long last look at me and watch me while I pack, 'cause I'm leaving now and I won't be coming back. I remember all your promises when I said I'd be your wife. You said that you'd be true to me and love me all your life. So keep this pretty negligee and this golden wedding band to remind you what you're missing. 'Cause after all I can stand, when you want some good home cooking, just head to Burger King. And if you can't afford it, you can pawn your wedding ring. Have the cashier blow a great big kiss while she's filling up your sack. 'Cause I'm leaving now and I won't be coming back. That's right, I'm leaving now and I won't be coming back. I'm out of here. It seems the love I've known has always been the most destructive kind. I guess that's why now I feel so old before my time. Yesterday, when I was young, the taste of life was sweet as rain upon my tongue. I teased at life as if it were a foolish game, the way the evening breeze may tease a candle flame. The thousand dreams I dreamed, the splendid things I planned, I always built to last on weak and shifting sand. I lived by night and shunned the naked light of day, and only now I see how the years ran away. Yesterday, when I was young, so many happy songs were waiting to be sung. So many wild pleasures lay in store for me, and so much pain my dazzled eyes refused to see. I ran so fast that time and youth at last ran out. I never stopped to think what life was all about, and every conversation I can now recall, concerned itself with me and nothing else at all. Yesterday the moon was blue, and every crazy day brought something new to do. I used my magic age as if it were a wand, and never saw the waste and emptiness beyond. The game of love I played with arrogance and pride, and every flame I lit too quickly died. The friends I made all seem somehow to drift away, and only I am left on stage to end the play. There are so many songs in me that won't be sung. I feel the bitter taste of tears upon my tongue. The time has come for me to pay for yesterday, when I was young. Sometimes at night, while you're fast asleep, I lie here alone in the darkness and weep. So sorry and sad, but that's part of the deal. When the tingle becomes a chill, I never wanted to stop loving you. I'll swear by the breath in my body that's true. Oh, but a woman can't help the way that she feels when the tingle becomes a chill. You're so contented, but for me it's all gone. And though I pretend, you just don't turn me on. The body performs, but the soul has no will. When the tingle becomes a chill, I never wanted to stop loving you. I'll swear by the breath in my body that's true. Oh, but a woman can't help the way that she feels when the tingle becomes a chill.
All right, that's the beautiful new music from Alicia Summers McLeod. Her new album is called For Crying Out Loud, and we are talking to Alicia about this great project tonight. And Alicia, we got a few more songs to talk about, and one of those is not only I think a very profound song, but a cool title is called "I Tripped Over Your Memory."
Oh, listen, that was one I did not write. That was one that Kurt and I've forgotten the young lady's name wrote, and he just tossed it out there to me and said, "What do you think?" And I said, I have no idea that I can do this properly, but I like that song. I really do. So it was just a real cool song. I thought it had a good upbeat tempo. People could do a quick two-step too, and I think maybe a lot of people have gone through that too, where you have an old love and you're doing okay, you're handling it well, and then all of a sudden you remember, and then you just fall flat on your face. It just was a really good song to me.
It's a great song, and you did it so well. And I got to tell you, your vocals are amazing. I mean, not to profile because of your age or anything, but you don't sound like your age at all.
Well, the wrinkle creams must have helped a little bit.
Yeah, they must have went down in your vocal cords or something. I don't.
Oh, I got to tell you something, Scott. I've said so many times, you are just the most phenomenal DJ I think I've heard since Dick Biondi way back in the day. And you're so articulate and you just speak so distinctly. But I'm going to tell you, when you say "for crying out loud," you got to leave that ing ending out. Crying out loud. I have a granddaughter. When she was a little girl, she's now 34. And I had stayed on her about it's ing, honey, going, doing. And one day she came in the kitchen. She said, Mimo, you got to come look. There are dolphins on TV.
Love it. Kids
was a success? I'm not so sure.
Kids can keep it real. They'll find that little in right there somewhere and just nail you right between the eyes.
You know it's so.
The song "When I'm Over You." Tell me about that one.
Now, that's another one that Kurt pitched to me. And the original, the demo of that was not country. It was not country at all. It had the vibraphones in it. It was so lounge music, just one of those fall in love on the dance floor songs. And I said, Kurt, I can't do that, but I love that song. And he said, well, let's do it. And I said, but I can't. And I said, can we drop it a key? And he said, no, you can do that. And I said, no, I can't. And I couldn't. And I shouldn't say this, but if people will listen closely to that high note in the chorus, I was struggling. I mean, in the biggest sort of way. He said, it sounds fine. I said, it doesn't. It sounds like garbage. He said, we're going to leave it. I think it's just fine. But that was a song that I just thought was so pretty. It was just so pretty. And, of course, it has a message, too, but it was just a beautiful song to listen to.
Yeah. Good point. It really is. And that's what I like that about the songs on this album. It kind of takes you on a whole little musical journey.
Well, I agree wholeheartedly. And when I chose those particular songs, I knew that they were not all straight country, but we did them in a country way. But they're all so different, and I wanted that mix-up, that mash, And when I was singing, I sang with Holiday Inn for almost 18 years until they closed then sold over to Quality Inn, and they tore out the dance floor one night. I walked in, the dance floor was being torn out, and I said, what's happening? They sold out. You can sing in the back room for 2 weeks, and then you're gone. But, you had a diversified crowd who came in there because it was on the corner of the interstate and a major thoroughfare. And so I had to sing a little bit of everything, and I loved mixing them up and doing the shock value, going from one style to another, one vocalist to another, and I would try to duplicate that voice. I could do Roy Orbison real well with my low voice, but as a matter of fact, we sang in the same key. And I still like to do that. I still like to go from one to another and throw that shock value in there. Wow, that's different.
I agree. One of the songs that I think is a lot of people can relate to, especially those that have been together, married for a long time, is a song called "Forever Together Alone."
Oh goodness, that song. A couple of days before I went in the studio, I knew that we were going to need some extra songs on the album. In fact, I had to write one in the studio because we didn't have enough. And at that particular point in time, James and I, as people do, were kind of crossing wires for a minute. And he stays down at his little shop back in the woods that he calls his hangar, and he works on his old cars. And I, of course, stay at the computer, or I'm doing music things. And he's not a go person, I'm a go person. And we've kind of gone separate ways in some ways. Now, we're still, of course, very much together, and I can't imagine life without him. He's just my life support. But in many ways, we are alone. And I thought how sad that is, because we thought when we got married, we were just alike. We were just going to travel the same path forever. And that didn't happen. And then I thought, that's probably true with a lot of people who've been married for a length of time. But yet it's kind of sad. And so I pulled the saddest of the sad to put into that. I tried to think of everything that was absolutely negative and none of the positive. And that's how that song came about. And when I went into the studio to record it, I said, Kurt, I may be making a mistake, because when James hears this, he's going to take it the wrong way, and we're going to get a divorce. Of course, that didn't happen. James is my biggest fan. But it does, I think, depict what happens to people over the years. And it's the same concept I mentioned earlier. You raise the kids. He's working like crazy. You're keeping the house. You're raising the kids, and you get home. He gets home from work. He wants your attention. You want his. But there are other things going on, and suddenly the kids are grown one day, and you realize that you don't have anything in common anymore. You've forgotten about each other in many ways, and it's sad. And so I just threw that all into there, the saddest part I could find, and that's how that song came about.
It's also, to me, it's healthy to be able to have your individuality and have certain things that you're interested in that maybe your partner is not, but there needs to be some common things where you can come back together and do those things together,
And, we do have those. Of course, we have 3 great-grandchildren, and they live next door. And we spend a lot of time with them, and that means our daughter is also next door. Our son lives here in town. And we do have a lot of still common denominators. And he can't imagine life without me, and I can't imagine life without him. He is the most brilliant, wonderful, kind, decent man I've ever known. I just think he's awesome. But he loves to do his things, and I love to do mine. And he also, I can't imagine any other man who would say, I want you to go to Nashville. I want you to do your music. I want you to enjoy what you do. I will even help finance it if you need me to, but I want you to enjoy what you enjoy. And conversely speaking, I want him to go down to his hangar and work on that old Model A and restore that old Ford pickup, because he loves that. Mm-hmm. And even though we're not together when we do that, those are things that make us enjoy life, so we support each other in every way.
Yeah, I think that's the way it should be. My wife and I are very much that same way, and I think it's healthy. You have to be able to do things separately to be able to be strong and appreciate what you have together, I guess is maybe the best way to put it.
And we do. And we are together, very much together, even though we spend a lot of time apart. But I may not see him for a couple of days if I'm working on the computer and he comes in late from the hangar and he goes on to bed because he's got to get up and go to work. He's still working, by the way, at almost 77 years old. He's a consultant now, and he's retired 4 times and gone back to work. But we don't spend a lot of time together, but the time we do spend together is good.
Well, I got one more song that I want to talk about, and I kind of saved this one for the last, because you had mentioned earlier that there are certain songs that you really need to listen to, and they're listening songs, and there's a very strong message there when you listen to them. And I think that this song, at least for me on this album, is probably the most profound one that I heard, and it's called No Wishes in Heaven.
Especially today, in our country, in our world, there's so much that we wish for, and some of it's trivial, some of it's very deep. And we find ourselves every day, I wish this or I wish that. I want this, I want that. And I remember many, many years ago when Brittany, my granddaughter, who's now 34, came to me and said, Mima, when I go to heaven, will there be a Six Flags? And I didn't quite know how to answer that. And I said, well, honey, if when you get there, that's what you want, yes, there will be a Six Flags. If that's what you want then and there, yes, you'll have a Six Flags. And so I kind of pulled all that together, and I thought, I complain about rainy days, wish the sky would be blue with no clouds in it. I wish I could see my mama. She's been gone since 2005. My dad since 2003. He had this crooked little smile. And you get melancholy. But when we reach heaven, which is the ultimate goal, I had someone tell me after our tornado, a year to the day before the Nashville tornado, who had lost his 10-year-old daughter, he said, his name was David Thornton. I've told this story many times. He said, she's my heart, my soul, my breath. I don't know how I'm going to make it without her, but I would not bring her back if I could. And I said, why not, David? He said, well, she's in heaven. That's where we all want to go. Why would I want to take her from there? And so I put all of that together, and I said, we have 2 jobs here on this earth, in my opinion. Everything else is just passing time. But we are here to love the Lord, give our soul back to Him because it belongs to Him, and we are here to help our fellow man and see that they find that same way. And with that in mind, and knowing that the ultimate goal, heaven, is all that's really important, it's just going to be fabulous. We won't have anything to wish for. We won't have any heartache. We won't have any sadness. We won't have any wishes. And that's how No Wishes in Heaven came about. We had to cut out a couple of lines of that because the song was just too long, but the part that we cut out said, basically, I wish I could tell other people about God and about Jesus so that everybody could go to heaven. And that's what was eliminated, which I kind of hate that we did that because that was the ultimate message. So when people listen to this, I wish they would get the song and listen to that and know that after that verse that says, I wish I could say that I'm sorry for all the things that have, there's another verse that says, wish I could let everybody know that there's a wonderful grace that God has given us in Jesus that says it doesn't matter what we've done or what we do in the future. We have a free ticket through the gates of heaven where there is no heartache ever again just by knowing that they exist and what Jesus Christ did for us.
Amen. But that one, I think, is one that's going to stick with you, so I hope folks will listen very carefully.
Let me tell you a funny little thing about that song. When I first wrote it, it was a 3/4 time, a waltz beat, da-da-da. Anyway, every time I tried to put the chords together on that song, it sounded like, oh, Lord, it's hard to be humble. I can't do that. So I asked a friend of mine, what do I need to do? And he said, let's make it a 4/4. Good old shuffle. And so I went into the studio, and I said, Kurt, what do you think? He sat down with a guitar and said, what do you think about this? And he threw a few extra chords in there. I went, that's perfect. That's perfect. And Kurt would not take any credit for doing the music on that. He would not even accept any credit, but he really is the one responsible for the music in that song, and I have to give him that credit.
Again, it's called For Crying Out Loud, and Alicia Sings For You is the Facebook page. We'll have that information on My Kind of Country's page, and Amazon, Spotify, and iTunes, and all those great places.
And I would love for everybody to get this album, not because of me, because I did it just for the pleasure of it. It's not about the money at all. It's about the message and about the fun songs. And it worked from my heart. It was always my dream on my bucket list. And at this ripe old age of 71, I finally got to do it. So you'll hear my life story. You'll hear how I think, and it's just a cool thing. But I want to thank you so much, Scott, for giving me this opportunity to be on your show. I am so honored because your show is just up there at the very top.
Well, thank you so much, and it's all because I have such great music to play, just like yours, and I'm so honored that you took time to be on My Kind of Country.
Thank you so much, Scott.
All right, here's some more great music from Alicia as we continue with My Kind of Country.
Someday I'll wake strong enough to face the day without your love. When I'm over you, when I'm over you, these bitter tears that I taste will just be pain that time erased when I'm over you, when I'm over you. I'll stand tall and hold my head up high and be as free as the wind. I'll break slowly fade when I'm over you. When I'm over you. I'll stand tall and hold my head up high and be as free as the wind. I'll break these chains you have around my heart and learn to trust again when I'm over you. Soon I'll lay me down to sleep, and dreams of you won't torture me when I'm over you. When I'm over you. As I look through the tears and scroll through the years and remember all that we had, the nights we'd pretend it never would end, reliving the good times and bad. The love I remember is now just an ember of the dreams that long since have gone. It used to be we, now it's just you and me, to finish together alone. Forever together alone. Now two on our own, to share only memories of a love that is gone. Together apart with no place to start. I still have your name, and there's no one to blame, but we're forever together alone. We used to feel a love that was real and one that we thought would last, but we pushed it aside, and now it has died and become just a part of our past. We go through each day in our own separate way. Now that the children are grown, we cry separate tears when we think of the years we'll spend forever together alone. Forever together alone. Now two on our own, to share only memories together apart with no place to start. I still have your name, and there's no one to blame, but we're forever together alone, to finish together alone. Well, I never thought I'd think of you after all this time. I just knew I'd burn the bridge you used to cross my mind. While I was getting into getting out and being free, well, I stumbled over something that I just didn't see. I tripped over your memory, and Lord, I took a fall. The love that I'd forgotten ain't forgotten after all. I was running to a new love, then just like a fool, I tripped over your memory and fell back in love with you. History, but then time revealed the truth. All I could hear was your sweet voice every time he'd call. When he would speak, my knees got weak, and once again I'd fall. I tripped over your memory, and Lord, I took a fall. The love that I'd forgotten ain't forgotten after all. I was running to a new love, then just like a fool, I tripped over your memory and fell back in love with you. I tripped over your memory and fell back in love with you. I wish I could see my dear mama and hear her sweet voice just once more. Tell Daddy just how much I love him. See the smile on his face as before. Hug loved ones and friends gone before me. Say things that I wish I had said, but in heaven there'll be no regrets and no sorrow, no heartache, and nothing to dread. There'll be no wishes in heaven, wanting to have something new, wishing that things could be different, hoping the sky will be blue, waiting for calls and for visits, needing kind words from a friend. There me pay. There'll be no wishes in heaven, wanting to have something new, wishing that things could be different, hoping the sky will be blue, waiting for calls and for visits, needing kind words from a friend. There'll be no wishes in heaven where joy and peace never end. I wish I could see my dear mama.
All right, a big thanks again to Alicia Summers McLeod for being on My Kind of Country tonight. Make sure you check out her great music, folks. She's fabulous. You're going to be hearing lots more from her, I can guarantee it.